So talk to me then about LIV then. We briefly discussed it offline. What does LIV do? And for the audience, it's LIV. It's is it an acronym? And what is exactly this company that you've been kind of dishing it out for 9 years
Yes, sir.
and work exactly?
So Liv is a camera technology company. We build cameras that you put inside of your apps, primarily games, so that both you, the developer, and your players can record and stream themselves with their friends, family, and fans. So the best way to explain this in the real world, I have a phone. I did this with you earlier. I'm going to do it now for the sake of the podcast. And if I want, I can just take my phone out and start recording a little video, which I'm going to do now. Hello, hello. I'm recording a little video with Alessandro. We're doing a little podcast. And when I'm done, I'm just going to press the red button here. I have my video and I can send it to you. That's fundamentally what we've built. VR is just a virtual reality. It's implicit in the name. In the real reality, I can do it on my iPhone. In the virtual reality, I do it with my Live phone, with my Live tablet. And it is indeed what it is. You pull out your Live tablet. It looks like an iPad that you hold like this with either handle. And then you can record videos, take pictures. The cool thing about Live is that it's a virtual camera. And the nature of virtual cameras is that they're not limited by physics. So I can't take my phone and throw it into the sky and have it fly around and follow me, but indeed I can with the Live camera.
Yeah.
And many, many of the other things that you could now imagine when you think of the untethered reality of virtual.
It's like you're like climbing a wall, or like you're on top of a mountain. You're just like, I'm gonna pop this right here and I'm just gonna stay there. I'm gonna
Exactly.
fly back here. I'm gonna resummon it with a snap of my fingers. It's back here. I can repress it. I saw a few of your videos. It's really cool. And it's just kind of mind-boggling that you're designing something that virtually feels physical, but in itself just breaks all the laws of physics. You can do whatever you want with it. Of course, you have the buttons and kind of the ways to set the camera up, but I just think that's such a cool concept. That the product in itself is a tool within a virtual world that then breaks these boundaries.
Yeah, we think it was like 80% familiar, 20% novel. I think that's like a good mix.
Yeah.
It's too novel, it's too much. We want people to have a sense of, oh, I know what this is, obviously. And then the other thing, the other realization that we've had is because of the demographic, which is skews really young, like young males, I would say, um, people think of it less like a camera utility and more like a toy. So it's their camera toy. They take out their camera toy to record a fun little skit with their friends, as opposed to I'm a professional videographer and I'm going to film a thing that's really serious. So we lean into that thing quite heavily. And one of the really interesting questions to ask yourself is, once phones came out with cameras, a lot of use cases opened up that were not really possible before. So I would say the social media revolution started because we started having cameras in our phones.
Mm-hmm.
Place like companies like Snapchat are suddenly possible because everyone's carrying a phone in their pocket. And I think it's pretty obvious that we're spending more and more time in virtual worlds in general. And that will be true for VR as well, but in general, virtual worlds. And so there will be a time where when you're in your favorite virtual app, you will be able to talk to your friends and share content with your friends, including things like streaming, the same way you can in the real world. And so one thing I tell the team all the time is if we didn't need to build a camera, we wouldn't build a camera. We would be building all the other cool stuff you can do with a camera. But for the last 9 years, there just wasn't a camera. And we wanted to build the cool stuff that you can do with a camera. So we had to build the camera so that we can do all the other cool stuff. And
Got
that's just taken a long time.
You need that foundation. What was the hardest part about building a camera? Like for the audience, like obviously you want to get to all the cool stuff, and I want to ask you about that. But just starting with, what does it mean to even build a camera in like a virtual reality?
The problem, the goalpost has shifted so much over the years. So in 2016, there was 20, 30 games when we started that were public. So tiny market. Everyone was on PC VR, so they needed a robust PC. The way we did it early was mixed reality capture. So you would use a physical camera with a green screen to capture your physical body composited into the game. So if you remember those viral Beat Saber videos where people
Yeah.
were playing, that's our initial tech, right? So a tiny number of users because you need a beefy PC, you need a green screen, you need a VR headset. That was a huge challenge. A small number of games to even play in. So we had to not only identify those small number of games, but we had to also integrate with them. And if they didn't want to do it, we're shit out of luck. We just don't have our camera in there. So that stuff was always really, really hard. And that also meant that there wasn't a lot of money in it. I think if you came into VR when we did and you weren't able to somehow kind of cockroach it out for the first 5, 6 years, you probably died along the way. And we did see that with a lot of the what I would call our competitors or other people in this space, kind of like burning out too early. So that was also a really big challenge. What does that formula look like? Money versus expenditures versus how fast can you move? Can you dial speed up by bringing in more people, but then the market isn't there, and then you've sped up for
Yeah.
whom or for what? So we've made a whole bunch of mistakes here, by the way. Oh my God, I could write a book about all the mistakes we've made, but somehow we're still here. And maybe in the future there will be like the black book of mistakes that inevitably happened.
So, what was it that you learned? Like, I talk a lot about kind of MVPs, especially in product as a product manager, and having a minimum viable product, which is like the minimum features that you want to test with your target market to make sure that you're providing a value prop to the customers that ideally will pay you. Like, how many MVPs did you go through to stay alive? Because obviously, in order to stay alive, you need to kind of keep obviously investors like tuned in. You need to show that you are delivering value in the product that you're creating, that you have a timeline, but they're also flexible that if the industry does change, which it has, um, you have to be, like you say, flexible and nimble, and you have to kind of slug it out over the tough times. Were there different, you mentioned the green screen and like having the camera, maybe that was your first MVP. When did you get to the point where you're here now with this like virtual kind of kind of little machine that you can
Yeah,
press buttons and make a
yeah,
camera?
yeah. Let's see. How do I best share this? So actually, super zoomed out. Our approach has always been we're really firm in the macro, we're really flexible in the micro. So by that I mean the macro is we believe VR is going to be a thing, and therefore there will be people like me who play a ton of games,
Yeah.
and people like me who will want to stream and record videos and share it either with their community or their friends. So we believe in that, and therefore our macro strategy is when that is true, there's going to be a big audience like us, and we're building solutions for them. Flexible in the micro means that looks different every year. Sometimes that has looked different every year. So the very first thing we did was mixed reality capture with a LIV app on Steam. It's still available on Steam. It's a PC app, helps you set up and calibrate your world, and then you can record yourself with a physical camera. And that went gangbusters viral because we integrated with a game called Beat Saber, and people started making those viral Beat Saber videos. And so that gave us a really big bump in the beginning. There was a lot of like, oh my God, this could be the next type of content that really sort of stands out in the crowd. And then along the way, we launched a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, everything from stream utilities. So while you're streaming, you can see your chat in the headset, your alerts, your notifications. I think of that as like your Iron Man HUD. You
Yeah.
put the headset on, and then you have all the information you need when you need it. Then we launched our first version of virtual cameras in 2018. So now on PC, you could control your virtual cameras with these telekinetic powers. So I can control my camera, put it over there, move it really far away, change the FOV. I could pick my avatar. So while I'm playing Beat Saber or any other game, I could be Son Goku, or I could be Super Mario, or I could be whatever the hell I want to be while controlling those cameras. And that was, I would say, like the bulk of our use for the longest time. And along the way, we experimented with a whole bunch of stuff. We've done everything from real-time interactivity in streams so that viewers can impact what happens in the game when you're playing VR. We've experimented with allowing viewers to join you in the headset, even though they might be on Twitch or YouTube. So they are chatting away on their PCs or phones or tablets, and you're playing with them in VR. They're sitting on your shoulders. You're throwing them away. They're flying in your face and being annoying. All that kind of stuff we've played with. We've played with mobile solutions, so you can do mixed reality capture using a phone that connects a Quest with a phone, does background removal using machine learning, so you can do mixed reality capture on a phone. And really, all of those, minus maybe the mixed reality solution for the phone, because that was just fundamentally not a good solution, were all great, but they all suffered from the problem that VR is just tiny. It doesn't matter if we do this great. It doesn't matter if people are willing to pay for their avatars. It doesn't matter if people are willing to pay money on stream to impact the Beat Saber game. None of that matters because there's like 8,000 users that we
Yeah,
have.
the market's small.
Tiny. And so that's been the name of the game. We've just continuously improved our tech, built more stuff, built better solutions, partnered with companies like Meta, done anything we can to stay alive. And then the Quest 2 came out. And when the Quest 2 came out, we finally started seeing millions of people flock in. And in particular, we started seeing people that exhibit deep retention and deep passion for the industry in terms of player characteristics. And so that's where the big growth has come. And we launched this camera in December 2024, so 6 months ago. I just posted a 6-month review actually on LinkedIn if people are
I
interested.
watched that one. Yeah, no, it was really cool. I was just seeing all the different kind of trailers and people playing in the use cases, and
Yeah,
I was mind-boggling.
cool. Yeah. So that's done really well. I mean, it's like standing on top of our own shoulders there. We've done virtual cameras for nearly 7 years now, and this is just the latest kind of packaged, optimized, all the things we've learned without any of the mistakes in a new package, cross-platform for any device, any application, any game. Add this thing in there, and now you have the most robust camera on the market so that you and your players can do exactly what we just talked about, capture and share.